So let's take a look at some log lines in actual coverage, and let's see if we can, pick them apart, see what makes them work, see if we can change some. The first coverage we'll take a look at is a script called Arizona Dreaming, and this came through my company, Screenplay Raiders. And what we got down here in the log line is, it's a dream come true when Mexican drug thug Juan takes an interest in producing Jerry's screenplay, but the production soon turns deadly. So I'm familiar with this script. I've read the synopsis. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can find the three elements: protagonist and goal and antagonist in this log line. First up, we've got it's a dream come true. Seems a little fluffy, but let's look for that protagonist or antagonist. Okay, so it looks like we got when Mexican drug thug Juan takes an interest in producing Jerry's screenplay. Sounds like Mexican drug thug Juan might be our antagonist, right? Seems a little weak though. And then takes an interest in producing Jerry's screenplay. Oh, that should be an S. Jerry's screenplay. So we got Jerry ostensibly is our protagonist, and then the production soon turns deadly. So, all right, so we've got the antagonist and we've got the protagonist. Both of these entries are a little bit weak. And then the goal ostensibly is for Jerry to have his film produced. Okay, so that's not exactly the best log line. This reader didn't write the best log line here. Let's see if we can take a stab at this. First up, we've got takes an interest in producing Jerry's screenplay. That's a little vague. Why don't we just say this? It's a dream come true when Mexican drug thug Juan agrees to produce Jerry's screenplay. Now let's change Mexican drug thug Juan to millionaire Mexican Juan agrees to produce Jerry's screenplay. Now we've taken off the drugs, right, and the thug. So now we're going to put it back, but we're going to put it at the end because production soon turns deadly. Seems a little vague, right? Okay, so let's do this. All right, so now we've got it's a dream come true when millionaire Mexican Juan agrees to produce Jerry's screenplay. But it turns out Juan is a violent drug lord who wants the film to be made his way. All right, so now we've got some conflict. We've got the drug lord insisting on his way, and we've replaced thug with violent, so the verbiage is a little stronger. All right, so now let's take away it's a dream come true. Should we take that away? All right, so that's probably just a little bit better. It's a dream come true is a little flabby, and we could work on that, but let's move on. So basically we've got it's a dream come true when millionaire Mexican Juan agrees to produce Jerry's screenplay, but it turns out Juan is a violent drug lord who wants the film to be made his way. Now we've got more visual elements. We could picture a violent drug lord as opposed to just a Mexican thug. And we could picture Jerry and Juan conflicting, basically going head to head, because we're implying that Jerry wants the film to be made his way as well by saying that Juan is a violent drug lord who wants the film to be made his way, underscore here. All right, so let's move on. Let's take a look at another coverage. Let's take a look at the log line. A retired astronaut is pulled back into one last mission that goes horribly wrong when his family is kidnapped by Taiwanese terrorists who threaten to kill his family if he doesn't follow their orders to use a U.S. satellite to attack a Chinese satellite. All right, so right there we've got a surplus of redundancy. We've got a ton of excess words there. It doesn't really grab me. It doesn't really grab an audience. So let's take a look at what's wrong. It certainly has the protagonist. It certainly has a goal, and it certainly has an antagonist. And it has stakes. We've got the Taiwanese terrorists threatening to kill the astronaut's family. But how we could make it better is just cut out a couple of lines and add a couple more words back. Let's see here. Let's just do this. Let's try this. Simple. Taiwanese terrorists threaten to kill a retired astronaut's family if he doesn't follow their orders to use a U.S. satellite to attack a Chinese satellite. So much better. So much more brief, right? So let's see what we came from. All right, let's undo all this. All right, so there we go. So this is a mouthful. A retired astronaut is pulled back into one last mission that goes horribly wrong, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I mean, that's just all just wasted space and fluff. It's so much better if we could just get down to the point. Let's see here. Redo. There we go. Taiwanese terrorists threaten to kill a retired astronaut's family if he doesn't follow their orders to use a U.S. satellite to attack a Chinese satellite. Boom, in, out. You got your antagonist, you got your protagonist, you got your conflict, you got your goal, you got all that stuff, the stakes, everything's all in there. Okay, so let's take a look at this logline. A romance plays out aboard a spacecraft searching for a new home for humanity while the android support staff pursues its own agenda. Well, what's it missing? Seems to be missing a protagonist, an antagonist, and a goal, as well as stakes. It seems to be just missing out on everything here. So, well, we could kind of say that searching for a new home for humanity is kind of a goal, but it seems kind of like a backdrop, really. You know, it doesn't really seem like a goal of a protagonist. And a romance playing out, doesn't really grab me, right? I don't know who, I don't know who's up against who, I don't know antagonist, protagonist, I don't know a goal, and I don't know stakes. Like, what's going to happen if the romance goes bad, or if they don't find a new home for humanity? Or what exactly is the android support staff doing? Is it bad? Is it good? If it's bad, what's going to happen if they succeed? So, you know, not being familiar with this script, we can't really, you know, I can't really write a great logline for this. We're just going to have to leave this kind of alone. That is an example of a very vague ambient logline, the kind of which you kind of want to avoid writing. Let's take a look at another coverage. So let's see here. While visiting a small town in Arizona, a New York cop must save the populace from a swarm of mutated mosquitoes whose bite causes otherwise sane individuals to commit horrific murders. Now that is a logline. That is a really good logline. I would say it could be made stronger here and there with a few word choices, but we've got all the elements we're looking for. We've got the antagonist, we've got the protagonist, we've got the goal, and we've got the stakes. I mean, sane individuals getting bit by a mosquito and go out and commit horrific murders. That's great. You know, I know exactly what that movie's going to be about. I can visualize it. And we've got this protagonist, a New York cop. Already we're visiting a small town in Arizona and a New York cop. This sounds vaguely like, But all that aside, the merits of this logline still stand. They are very strong. It might sound a lot like Jaws, but it definitely pops and is definitely visualizable. So that's how to write a logline in script coverage and why it's important to get it right. And not only that, but why it's such a great opportunity to hone your skills specifically with the logline when you're writing coverage. It's really the one section that you can pay the most attention to and you get the most value out of as a reader via honing your screenwriting skills, your writing skills in general. All right, well, that's loglines, and thanks for watching.